Well, let me extend a really warm welcome to you at Round Glass. I'm Vishvapani Blomfield, and thank you for joining me for this session in my series, Exploring the Qualities of Awareness. So in today's practice, we'll be bringing an attitude of warmth and kindness to our experience as we sit with the breath. So the question to consider, the question that's in the chat is, who is the kindest person you know? And please share their first name and just a short phrase that describes them. We'd love to hear from you. Now, parents are often proud of their children and can go on about them a little bit too much. So I won't tell you all about my son's wonderful qualities, but just one. I'm very happy to see that he's turned out to be a kind person. I heard from the parents of a classmate with autism that he'd stood up for their son when he was being teased, just when the son newly joined the school. And that really helped the son to settle in because he knew that he wasn't on his own. And it made a connection between the two boys. And now, of course, it's made a connection between two sets of parents. So what my son did was a very simple act. I don't think he thought about it very much. You know, he just saw that something unkind was happening and he wanted to help. The starting point was he didn't worry about standing up for a child who probably isn't considered, particularly cool or attractive or anything like that. And he was confident enough in himself that he didn't care. He didn't care what people thought of him. And I guess that must mean that he felt kindness for himself. And maybe that's all kindness is. You need something, I want to help. And that might be practical assistance. It might be interest or engagement or concern. And sometimes what we need to know is that we're seen and cared for, and that showing someone that is kindness. Now, sometimes that comes from other people, and sometimes it comes from ourselves. And that's what we'll be looking at in meditation. So it isn't enough just to be aware of ourselves. Awareness always has an emotional tone. So we can be aware, but critical, right? So if I'm looking for faults, then that's a certain kind of awareness. Or I can be aware, but not really interested, not fully engaged. Or awareness can be friendly. And that's a much fuller kind of awareness. So in today's practice, we'll bring this quality of kindness to our experience. Now, in Buddhist meditation traditions, this quality is called metta, and it means something like loving kindness. And metta includes everyone. Okay, it's universal, outgoing, it's non-unconditional, but it starts with ourselves. So that sense of metta can be the sole focus, and you can work with how do I develop metta. Or, as in today's practice, it can be a quality that perfumes our awareness as we focus on the breath. It's the emotional tone. So, thank you for your answers to the question, who is the kindest person you know? So, one person says, Tony. She's my biggest cheerleader. So that's lovely. It's a sense of encouragement. Or Jamie, loyal and caring. Amal, supportive and nurturing. And then we've got someone saying Mother Teresa. And a quote from Mother Teresa, there are no great things, only small things with great love. Happy are those. So that's really inspiring to hear. And let's take that into today's practice. Okay, so let's get ourselves set up and just deciding how you want to sit for the practice. So you might be lying down, that's fine. If you're lying down, watch out for falling asleep. You might be sitting on the floor like this, and it takes a little while to get used to the posture that's right for you. If you're sitting in a chair, that's absolutely fine. Just see if you can have your back slightly away from the back of the chair. It's a difference between sort of slumping back and you feel like you're going to go to sleep and being a bit more alert and awake. Okay, so just working with your posture. We want to be comfortable, but we also want to be alert and upright and awake. So the spine being straight, if we're sitting up, that's great. And just settling into our posture, just adjusting, little adjustments we might want to make, even moving a little bit. All of that is a way about, making a transition. And that's always a helpful thing to do, to just gently make a steady, gradual, gentle transition so that then we can just start to arrive and really experiencing the body, just feeling the body, sensing, settling. And this really just means feeling what we touch, feeling where the body rests, feeling the contact with the floor, a chair, whatever we're on. Just sensing it, feeling what the senses are bringing to us. And that will really help us to connect with the body. And maybe taking a deeper breath, just let the breath flow in. As it flows out, a sense of letting go, but also a sense of arriving. Let's do that again. We'll take a deeper breath. Let go. Just giving ourselves a moment to settle. So on those long out breaths, we notice a sense of letting go, and physical, letting go of tensions, letting them go. And along with that, we can just have a sense of letting go of any feeling of being preoccupied. Now, that's not to say that all the thoughts will disappear, but we can have that attitude and that intention just to let them go. And so we arrive in the realm we can call our experience, our emotional presence, our emotional experience. So how does it feel to be here? Something I like to do, which you might want to follow me in doing, is just to place your hand on your heart. Just kind of let it nuzzle in there. The weekend I was with someone who's proudly singing Flower of Scotland, and he placed his hand on his heart as he did so. We do that to feel our emotions. Let's feel the warmth, feel the pressure. In doing this, we can get a sense of the heart center, the heart as a source of emotion, as the focus of our energy. If you like, now you can move the hand down to the belly. Again, just feeling the warmth, feeling the contact, the pressure, feeling the breath flowing in and out. And this can help us to feel centered, grounded, just feeling that. So we can keep the hand there. It can feel good to do that. Or you can place the hand down. And as we breathe in now, we can feel the heart coming into that emotional center. Sorry, the breath flowing in to the emotional center. You can just feel the breath flowing in, flowing into the heart. Feel the air as a physical presence and how the lungs expand. The breath flows through the nose, the nostrils, the windpipe into the lungs. The lungs expand and the chest moves. The skin moves against the clothing. We breathe out. And as we breathe in this way, feeling that the breath is warm, the breath is bringing a sense of nourishment, and quite literally, we feed on the breath. The air goes into the capillaries and our blood absorbs the oxygen. We feed on the breath. It sustains us. It gives us life. And the oxygen fills, pervades the bloodstream, the whole blood supply. And this sense of nourishment spreading through the body. And now as we breathe in, feeling that the breath is kind, in fact, we breathe in this kindness. It flows deep into the body. Kindness flowing into the heart. Kindness in our hearts. Perhaps we can imagine that as we breathe in, we take in kindness. And as we breathe out, that kindness just flows through the body like the oxygen flowing into the blood. Kindness, care, warmth, compassion, love, maybe now the kindness also flows into the belly. Just as we feel the belly expanding as we breathe, it rises, it settles. That's what happens as we breathe. The skin brushes against the clothing. So we're just breathing quite naturally. We're letting the breath flow. Flowing in and flowing out. And breathing in these qualities. Notice if one of these words particularly strikes you. Kindness, flowing into the heart, flowing into the belly. Care, flowing deeply into the body. Warmth. Breathing in warmth. Compassion. Compassion flowing in. Love. Filling with love. seeing if we can just stay with this quality of loving kindness, of metta, as a source of nourishment, a source of well-wishing. There may be other voices that we hear, critical voices, cynical voices. And just allowing that, and as best we can, just holding that in a broad awareness. As the breath flows in, the breath flows out. Breathing, settling, just feeling the body, feeling the effect of this practice in the body. Just letting go of any sense of making an effort, just settling. So it may be that you want to keep meditating. Maybe you feel like, well, I'm just getting started. In which case, of course, you're very welcome to do so, and the guided part will simply be the launch pad for the rest of your practice. Otherwise, we're going to start making a gentle transition. Another deep breath. Maybe starting to bring in a little bit of movement. I like to roll my shoulders. Move fingers. The thing is nice to just stretch, just gentle upward stretch. If that works for you, if that's right for your body. Moving the neck a little. And then we're just going to take a little bit of time to reflect, just to absorb the practice. And whatever, just noticing what happened. And thing with this meditation on kindness, it's always important to remember that, you can't manufacture it. You can't make it happen. It sometimes, well, what we can do is we can encourage that feeling of kindness. And we can, that's what we were doing with words, with using a sense of breathing in. And then the question is, well, that touch, how did that feel for me today? And really, if you didn't feel full of wonderful kindness, that's absolutely fine. There's someone in the chat just saying, felt a real ease settle into my body. Okay, so that's lovely. So that sense of ease, it's both physical and it's also emotional, isn't it? Um, so we can't manufacture kindness, and it's absolutely fine to not feel it. It's just gently inclining our minds in that direction. Now, personally, a lot of the work I've done as a mindfulness teacher has been working with something called mindfulness based cognitive therapy, which is a standard mindfulness course, really. It's just adapted a little bit to help people who experience recurrent periods of depression. And what that's meant is that I have spent, quite a lot of time working with people who are prone to depression. And that's quite helpful for me as a teacher. One thing I've learned is that many of us, start with a sense of that I am not good enough. And what that means is that kindness, or self-compassion as some people call it, is very important, but there's a trap that you need to look out for. Okay, so here's the trap. If you start with a sense that you don't love yourself, and then you do an exercise that's aimed at changing that, what happens if it doesn't work? Okay, then it becomes something else that we failed at. So I don't feel love for myself because I don't love myself. And I don't love myself. Why don't I love myself? Oh, because I'm unlovable. I remember. And that is the path back to depression. So, bringing a sense of kindness, a kindly tone or quality to awareness is an alternative. But, it's helpful not to set that up as a goal. It's trying to locate that attitude, that tone of voice, that quality of awareness. So just see how it works for you. It's how we find that emotional quality is something we can explore, and it can take time. So I have some suggestions about doing this. Some questions we can ask ourselves. How does it feel when I am unkind to someone else? So how does my body feel? How does it feel when someone is unkind to me? How does it feel when someone is kind to me? And how does it feel when I'm kind to myself? So unkindness, how does that feel? Myself and others. Kindness for myself and others. So just checking out the sense in the body in each case. That's a great way to explore that for yourself. Okay. So I want to finish with some words about loving kindness, or metta, that come from the Buddha. Okay, this is something called the Metta Sutta. So, let none deceive another or despise any being in any state. Let none, through anger or ill will, wish harm upon another. Even as a mother protects with her life her child, her only child, so with a boundless heart should one cherish all living beings, radiating kindness over the whole world, spreading upwards to the skies, downwards to the depths, outwards and unbounded, free from hatred and ill will, whether standing or walking, seated or lying down, free from drowsiness, one should sustain this recollection. So, thank you for sharing this time, and please continue to explore meditation practice with us. Check out our daily live meditations around Dot Glass or on our app. Have a great day. Make it special. Make it kind.